Welcome to Focus on Why, the podcast where reflection sparks action. I'm Amy Rowlinson, and together we'll explore compelling stories, profound insights, and transformative experiences from inspiring guests worldwide. Feeling lost or unfulfilled? Searching for clarity, purpose, or meaning in your work and life? This podcast invites you on a journey of self-discovery to align your work with your values, shape your future with intention, and create a purposeful way of life. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why. Before we start, have you signed up to receive my weekly email newsletter, Friday Focus? Every Friday, I focus on one topic with one action arising. The link to sign up is in the show notes. 5 years ago today, on the 30th of April 2020, I launched this podcast. I can hardly believe it's been 5 years. When I recorded that first episode, I said that it was important that people recognise their own potential. Using the medium of the podcast meant I could speak to more people who could hear what I was sharing and translate the many learnings that I shared into their own life. I believe in sharing knowledge, otherwise it's wasted. And I said in that first episode that we have an opportunity to change the way that life has been working, that it wasn't too late. It's never too late to allow this world to be what it might have been. We can heal it. Companies have opportunities to look at how their people are working within their organisations. Are they really valuing and allowing those people to maximise their full potential? I said that I wasn't quite sure what I was going to create for this podcast, but that I just knew it had to be out there, to get it out, to get started, and that it would evolve. I stepped up and took centre stage, right out of my comfort zone into the stretch zone, into a place of creation, which is the most powerful thing you can do. It's where the magic happens. When you create something that you didn't believe you could, and you do it, that's the best feeling. I said that I was going to stretch myself, discover new capabilities, new talents, get better at my trade while passing on the many learnings. This is what I wanted to leave as my legacy. When you know that you take responsibility for every single action that you make or every single decision that you take, it's so liberating. This is what I said then, and I stand by every single word. So there you are. You can go back and listen to that first episode, and my goodness, have I learned a lot about podcasting since then, for one thing. But that's okay. We all have to start somewhere and grow and learn and reflect on our failings, on our learnings. And seeing the progress I've made in the 5 years has been a joy to reflect upon. So with that huge milestone celebration acknowledged, 5 years of Focus on Why, let's return to my 74th solo Focus on Why Reflections with Actions episode, where I reflect on the last 5 guests and explore a few themes which stood out for me. But before we go there, quite a lot has happened in my life since I released the last episode, so here's a quick summary. Focus on Why, my book, was shortlisted in the Business Book Awards. I find out in September whether it's a winner. However, one fact remains. The book will always be a finalist. So for me, that's a huge win. It was shortlisted in the Work and Life category, a space that celebrates books offering insight to help people find a more intentional balance between their professional and personal lives. That's exactly what Focus on Why sets out to do. So this recognition means a great deal to me. However, this moment was not focused solely on receiving industry recognition. It was also about a personal promise. A few years ago, I set myself a quiet, personal, and meaningful milestone. I'd seen friends and peers publish their books, enter these Business Book Awards, and share ideas that mattered to them. I made a decision. No big declaration, just a quiet commitment that one day I'd do the same. Not to tick a box or chase a title, but to honour a message I believed in, one rooted in experience, one I'd seen helping my clients and community, one I'd felt needed to be written down. That message is Focus on Why. Create a purposeful way of life that puts clarity, meaning and intention at the heart of how we choose to show up. It would have been easy to let that promise slide. There were other priorities, many doubts, and plenty of moments where I questioned whether it was worth it. But the message kept calling me back. So I kept writing, editing, reworking, shaping something I'd be proud of. Not perfect, not polished to please everyone, but true to what I stood for. Seeing my book shortlisted feels like a quiet confirmation, a loud confirmation even. The message landed. It matters, and my book belongs in the business world. Focus on Why is also a co-authored book in an unusual way. My late grandfather, George Fleming Kerr, is woven throughout its pages through a collection of his wartime journal entries and a recording I'd made with him years ago. His voice and perspective, written decades ago, continue to guide me today from beyond his grave. In a letter from November 1995, he wrote, "Don't be too easily put off by rejection. You'll finally walk it. We have every confidence in a marvellously performing girl. You write very fluently and well. Let me know how else I can help. Love, George." Well, George, you have helped. He believed in me then, and I carry that belief still. This recognition in the Business Book Awards isn't about celebration for its own sake. It's about what it took to get here. The time, the energy, the courage of conviction, and most of all, the commitment to follow through on a promise when nothing was guaranteed. This kind of commitment stays with you, and when it's realised, it changes something inside. So let me ask you, is there something you've been meaning to follow through on simply because it matters to you? What might shift if you finally gave it your full attention? If you've made a quiet promise to yourself, stay with it. You don't need to rush and you don't need to shout about it. Just keep going. Show up. Do the work. One step at a time. You'll know when the moment arrives to celebrate it. Until then, focus on promises. Focus on why. What's a quiet promise you've made to yourself, and are you still honouring it? John and I celebrated a milestone recently, 30 years together, which is just incredible. And we're currently in the process of moving house after 18 and a half years living in the home that we've converted from a 2-bed bungalow into a much bigger house. However, now that the children are grown and almost flown, and neither John nor I are commuting into London on a daily basis, we decided it was time to downsize. Actually, I prefer to use the term right size, as it feels more fitting and better describes the time of life we find ourselves in now. So we found a new place, and we're now frantically sorting, sifting, discarding, selling, donating and recycling as much stuff as possible to transition into our next home. What else is going on? Well, I've been running the Meaningful Success Mastermind, and it's now in week 5. Having combined the Focus on Why framework with the Meaningful Success model that I designed, the results and transformational shifts that people are experiencing on the program are incredible. We're just approaching the halfway stage, and I'm so excited to see what comes out of the whole program. I'm absolutely loving facilitating a space where magic occurs. While it feels so natural, I'm also aware that it's taken me years to acquire all the knowledge, the concepts, and develop the tools that I'm now mastering to even be able to create this space in the first place. However, what I'm witness to is reflection with action. Having reflected on all that I've gathered, I'm now taking action and sharing it with others. I'm shining a light on what's possible when you focus on why. What's possible is that you can identify what's meaningful for you, what meaningful success looks and feels like, what creating a living legacy that is aligned with your core values and your success values, so that every day you know you're absolutely doing what's right for you. That's what's possible. And another huge piece of news that I wish to share with you is that our daughter Holly, finished the London Marathon this week. If you've read Focus on Why the book, you'll already know just how incredibly meaningful this was. If you don't, then I'll bring you up to speed. In April 2024, Holly was 19 miles into the Brighton Marathon when she collapsed unconscious from heat stroke. After all her hard work training, the disappointment was overwhelming. However, rather than staying stuck in that moment, she chose to reflect, to grow, and find a deeper meaning in what had happened. She realised that life isn't just about crossing finishing lines, it's about compassion, collaboration, and the love that surrounds you when you need it most. Through reflection, she decided to turn her experience into action, signing up to run the London Marathon for St John Ambulance to thank them for the incredible care they gave her. Fast forward to April 27th, 2025, despite battling labyrinthitis for 6 weeks during her training and facing an unusually hot race day, Holly crossed the finish line of the London Marathon. She ran not for a personal best, but with a clear purpose: to finish, to give back, and be part of something bigger. Her medal represented resilience, gratitude, and love. I couldn't be prouder. John and I couldn't be prouder. In fact, her whole family, friends, and Holly couldn't be prouder. And it's not too late to support Holly's efforts and donate to St John Ambulance. Her fundraising link is in the show notes. And her journey isn't over yet. She's already signed up for next year, and now her brother Eddie wants to join her, running for a charity close to his heart, Blaze. Holly didn't just finish a marathon, she lived the lesson that life's greatest victories are sometimes born out of your greatest trials. Setbacks can be the start of something even more beautiful. It's about the meaning you choose to give them. The moments that break you open are the ones that show you who you really are. Another 2025 London Marathon finisher I want to honour is my guest from episode 445, Human Business Thinking, Bryony Thomas. Bryony's story is phenomenal. In 2019, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and given 12 weeks to live. Against all odds, Bryony survived. She chose not to speak about this survival in the episode as she wanted to focus on her purposeful work. However, on Sunday, fundraising for Pancreatic Cancer UK, despite experiencing excruciating pain from a hip impingement, Bryony committed to completing the marathon. Marking her milestone of being 5 years clear of pancreatic cancer, with so many people having donated already, she said she just had to do it. She couldn't run as she had planned, but she walked every step. So 8 hours and 33 minutes later, she received her well-deserved medal, raising almost $7,000 for her charity. Her fundraising link is also in the show notes. And Bryony, you're an absolute legend. So what I want to share here is that Bryony and Holly's stories are just two of the tens of thousands of incredibly meaningful stories which lie behind every person who took part in Sunday's London Marathon. With so many personal reasons, that's what makes it such an emotionally charged day. And whether you're a spectator, a volunteer or a runner, this event really does crack your heart wide open, revealing deep compassion for humanity. So let's dive into today's Reflections with Actions. And first up is episode 454, Breathing Life into Conversations with Shelly Starks. Communications coach Shelly shares how to connect authentically while staying true to yourself. She explores behavioural analysis tools like extended DISC and the impact of life experiences on purposeful communication. Shelly discusses how understanding communication styles enhances conversations, creativity, and team productivity. She also reflects how a radical hysterectomy reshaped her priorities, emphasising boundaries and intentional connections. Trust your instincts and embrace authenticity to hear how Shelly is breathing life into conversations. Reflecting on this episode offers you an intriguing opportunity to delve deeper into the themes of authenticity, communication, and the balance of energy. It also provides rich content to ponder upon and translates easily into actionable insights that you can incorporate into your daily life. Shelly talks at length about the importance of authentic communication, expressing that aligning your interactions with your true self can profoundly impact both your personal and professional life. This notion of authenticity resonates deeply, reminding you that a genuine presence can foster stronger connections and more meaningful exchanges. In practical terms, consider starting by identifying what truly lights you up. Shelly suggests honing in on activities or experiences that fill you with energy and excitement. Ask yourself, what makes you feel alive, inspired, and most like yourself? Is it a hobby such as painting or writing, or perhaps a professional pursuit where you can wholeheartedly apply your skills and creativity? Once you've identified these elements, make a conscious effort to incorporate them more frequently into your routine. For example, if you find joy in creative expression, dedicate time each week to engage in an art project or similar activity. As you embark on this journey to authenticity, contemplate on the energy exchange in your interactions, as Shelly discusses the idea of an energy tank. This metaphorical concept can serve as a valuable guide for maintaining your well-being. When engaging in conversations or activities, reflect on whether they rejuvenate or drain your energies. It might be useful to maintain a small journal, noting instances when you feel invigorated versus instances that leave you feeling exhausted. By doing so, you'll begin to notice patterns and then can make informed decisions on where to invest your time and resources. One of the key takeaways from Shelly's insights involves the ability to adapt your communication style to better meet others where they are without losing your own authenticity. Meeting people where they are is crucial if we are to adapt our communication style to resonate with others. Understanding individual behavioural styles can lead to more effective and meaningful interactions. This is where the application of tools such as the extended DISC behavioural analysis she mentions can be so beneficial. By understanding your own communication style as well as others, you become better equipped to engage in meaningful interactions that foster understanding and innovation, whether in work settings or personal relationships. Take action by exploring these behavioural styles for yourself. Resources for the extended DISC assessment can be found online. I've put a link in the show notes, as this tool can offer a fresh perspective on your interaction strengths and areas for development. Recognising your natural tendencies isn't about fitting into a box, but rather expanding your capability to connect genuinely with different individuals. Shelley also touches on the power of the word no and the necessity of setting boundaries. Especially in today's very busy world, you might find yourself accepting all sorts of responsibilities and social engagements, but having a purposeful filter helps maintain your energy balance. Practice saying no to opportunities that don't align with your goals, your intentions, or your values, or don't contribute positively to your energy tank. It might be challenging at first, however, think of it as an act of self-care, preserving your vitality for engagements that matter most to you. Embrace the idea of being a bridge builder in all your interactions. Shelley and I both identify as bridge builders, and it's a concept that extends beyond networking. It's about nurturing connections that are authentic, meaningful, and impactful. Consider holding this perspective as you meet new people and explore collaborative opportunities. When introducing others, do so with purposeful intention, aiming to construct meaningful networks rather than merely expanding your contact list. My conversation with Shelley encourages a reflective journey on authenticity and energy management. By integrating these elements into your life through identifying what invigorates you, mastering effective communication, setting intentional boundaries, and building genuine connections, you actively participate in creating a life enriched with purpose and fulfilled potential. Remember, though, the path to authenticity and purposeful living requires effort and introspection. The rewards found in enriched relationships, enhanced well-being, and a profound sense of satisfaction are well worth the journey. Take these insights from Shelley's conversation and let them guide you towards a more fulfilled and authentic you. This approach is how you too are breathing life into conversations. Next up is episode 455, Autonomous Awakenings with Rachel Power. After being told she'd reached her potential in the corporate world, Rachel embarked on a journey from burnout to purposeful living. She now helps others align personal values with professional goals, build meaningful relationships, and navigate change without sacrificing well-being. One of the central threads that emerged from Rachel's conversation was the importance of aligning your work with your personal values and the transformative power of self-awareness in achieving this alignment. This is not a new theme to the podcast. However, it is one of the most important themes to highlight in the broader quest for personal and professional fulfillment, as it will speak directly to the heart of many who are right now feeling adrift in your careers or personal lives. Rachel's journey is one many can relate to, a successful career that ultimately felt unfulfilling, leading to a pivotal moment of introspection, followed by action. This moment was triggered when she was informed she'd reached her potential in her corporate role. This external judgment served as a catalyst for Rachel, compelling her to assess her true desires and values, a journey that she acknowledges is ongoing. This narrative invites you to consider your own path. Have you, too, found yourself in a place where your roles and responsibilities no longer reflect who you are or aspire to be? An actionable reflection on this could start with conducting your own values inventory. As Rachel shared, her initial discovery was that her top value was autonomy, something that was at odds with her corporate environment. To gain similar clarity, take time to list what is most important to you in your work and life. What do each of these values give you? How do each of these values serve you? Analysing your values to this depth can be a transformative exercise. Consider areas such as creativity, collaboration, purpose, autonomy. Do these resonate strongly with you too? Once you've articulated your core values, the next step is to evaluate your current situation. Are your circumstances allowing those values to flourish, or do you feel restricted? Rachel spoke about the importance of feeling your way through decisions, a notion that encourages you to listen to your body's responses to different scenarios. Do certain commitments make you feel excited and alive, or do they induce stress and apprehension? This somatic awareness can be surprisingly insightful. Another key takeaway from Rachel's story is the concept of slowing down to go fast. The workplace today often equates busyness with success. Rachel suggests a radical shift in thinking. By deliberately slowing down, you give yourself permission to pause, reflect, and make thoughtful, purposeful decisions that align with your values. This approach isn't about inertia, but rather a strategic retreat to advance more effectively. Ask yourself, where in your life could you benefit from slowing down to gain clarity? Rachel's experience with burnout, which she didn't recognise until much later, is also instructive. Burnout often creeps in insidiously, camouflaged as diligence or ambition. As Rachel discovered, protecting your energy and prioritising self-care is non-negotiable. This is a critical reminder that looking after oneself is not selfish, but essential. Reflect on your own habits and consider what small steps you could take to incorporate more restorative practices into your daily routine. Whether it's setting stricter boundaries around work or carving out time for relaxation and hobbies, these acts are vital in sustaining long-term productivity and happiness. Throughout Rachel's episode, there's an underlying message about the necessity of continual growth and self-discovery. Rachel's transformation wasn't immediate and involved embracing vulnerability and change. Her story exemplifies that it's never too late to reorient yourself towards a more fulfilling path. The invitation is open to approach life with a beginner's mindset, always ready to learn and adapt. Her episode serves as both an inspiration and a call to action. By aligning your work with your deepest values and nurturing self-awareness, you can create a more purposeful and fulfilling way of life. It encourages you to pause, reflect, and consider what steps can you take today to start living more authentically. How can you better align your daily actions with your values and protect your energy to prevent burnout? The journey towards self-discovery and alignment is personal and ongoing. Embrace it wholeheartedly and let your reflections spark actions that lead you to a life of greater fulfillment and joy. Doing so will be your first step forward towards your own autonomous awakenings. Now we turn our attention to episode 456, Be Brave, Be Bold, Be You, with Lucy Henshall. What if the life you've planned is only the beginning of who you're truly meant to become? In this episode, Lucy Henshall shares how a health crisis steered her from a conventional career as a GP onto a path of purpose, freedom, and self-discovery. Guided by intuition and courage, Lucy now empowers others to embrace change and live authentically. From cycling across Cuba to mentoring fellow doctors, Lucy's story is a call to trust the unknown, to embrace vulnerability as a strength, and what it means to be brave, be bold, be you. Reflecting on this enlightening conversation, you might find yourself particularly drawn to the themes of liberation through intuition and the conscious integration of all aspects of one's identity. Both elements are pivotal in Lucy's transformative journey, but they also serve as a persuasive invitation for you to consider how these themes resonate within your own life. Firstly, let's delve into the concept of liberation through intuition. Lucy's journey exudes a sense of joy and freedom that she unlocked by allowing her intuition to guide her decisions. This side of her life was notably suppressed during her career as a GP, where structured science often overshadowed the creative, intuitive art of medicine. Yet, as she navigated through the complexities of personal setbacks and professional reinvention, Lucy tapped into her intuition to explore untrodden paths. Ask yourself, how often do you allow your gut feelings to shape your decisions? Is there a part of you that yearns for the freedom to just, as Lucy puts it, have a go? Consider how you might carve out time and space to explore choices driven by intuitive insight rather than rigid reasoning. Engage in activities that spark your curiosity and step outside your comfort zone. An action you could take today is to choose one aspect of your life where you've been playing it safe and make a conscious decision to experiment with an intuitive approach. This doesn't require an abrupt upheaval. Perhaps it's as simple as exploring a creative interest without a predetermined goal or taking a new route on your regular walk. Your intuition might not only bring you new insights, but also a sense of liberation as you open yourself to new experiences. The second compelling thread in Lucy's narrative is the integration of her personal and professional identities. Throughout her life, Lucy navigated between her roles as Dr. Henshall and Mrs. Solowski, maintaining clear boundaries between the two. With time and self-discovery, Lucy found liberation in embracing all parts of her identity, realising the richness it brought to her professional work supporting GPs. Reflect on how you define yourself. Do you find there are fragments of your identity that remain unacknowledged or underutilised because of the roles you've traditionally adhered to? There might be incredible power in embracing and harmonising all facets of who you are, both in personal endeavours and professional undertakings. A practical action here is to identify 2 areas of your life that seem distinct and explore how they might complement each other in unexpected ways. Perhaps your analytical skills from work could enhance a hobby, or your compassion in personal relationships might bring a new depth to professional interactions. By integrating rather than segmenting your identity, you open new avenues for creativity and fulfillment. Both threads here reflect a broader theme of courageous authenticity, of being brave, being bold, and being you, just as the writing on Lucy's pebble states. Embrace this mantra and invite it into your daily decisions. Allow it to guide how you engage with the world, encouraging a rich and meaningful life fully aligned with your unique essence. Remember, the process of self-discovery and intuition-led living is ongoing. Use this reflection not as a checklist to finish, but as an evolving practice. Keep checking in with yourself, trust your instincts, and remain open to all the possibilities waiting for you on the horizon. You cannot get it wrong. You can only unearth more of what is beautifully and authentically you. My penultimate reflection with action is from episode 457, Walk Alongside You with Rhona Morrison. Have you ever wondered how your life experiences could become powerful stories of change and inspiration? Rhona shares her extraordinary journey from forensic psychiatry to cruise ship lecturing. A passionate advocate for mental health, Rhona draws on decades of professional experience and personal loss to challenge stigma and promote understanding. Her work with mentally ill offenders, alongside caring for her sister and grieving her husband, has shaped a mission rooted in compassion. Through her books, public speaking, and evocative art, she invites us to rethink how we view mental illness. Rhona's story is one of resilience, reinvention, and hope, showing that purpose can thrive after adversity. Her enduring message: see beyond the labels, embrace life's transitions, and choose to walk alongside people. For me, one word rises to the surface from this episode, and it's alongside. This simple, often overlooked term becomes a profound call to action when viewed through the lens of Rhona's life and work. Her journey, which is marked by personal resilience, professional compassion, and deep commitment to the destigmatization of mental illness, illustrates the transformative power of walking alongside others, not ahead or behind, but alongside. Rhona's work as a forensic psychiatrist offers a powerful reminder of how society often isolates those labelled as mentally ill criminals. However, what if we walked alongside them instead? What if instead of judgment we offered empathy? Rhona urges us to look past labels and see the human being beneath. For me, her message is clear. It's a clear call to action. Choose connection over condemnation. When you walk alongside someone struggling with mental illness, you should offer them support and affirm their humanity. Rhona's story speaks to the ripple effect of change. By shifting one mindset, you can influence others gently, persistently. Whether it's challenging a friend's casual stigma, supporting mental health initiatives, or simply being present for someone going through a hard time, you're capable of leaving ripples of understanding in your wake. Rhona's personal life echoes this theme. After losing her husband, she didn't retreat from the world. She leaned into a new chapter. She found purpose in advocacy, art, and storytelling. Walking alongside her own grief, she created a path forward for herself and for others. who might one day follow her. Rhona's journey invites you to reflect. Are you holding on to old chapters that no longer serve you? If so, what's stopping you from beginning again? It's never too late to. And this is where you fill in the rest of the sentence, because it's you who chooses to write your own story. As Rhona exemplifies, living with purpose isn't about grand gestures, it's about alignment. It's about making sure the way you spend your time reflects what you care most deeply about. That might mean picking up a forgotten passion or telling your own story to help someone feel less alone. To walk alongside someone is to acknowledge their worth. It's to meet people where they are and to say, you're not alone. That kind of presence is intentional, compassionate and purpose-driven, and it holds the power to change lives. Now that's something worth stepping into, don't you agree? Who in your life might need someone to simply walk alongside them right now, and how can you show up for them? My final reflection with action today is from episode 458, Feel the Meaning with Dave Pounds. How do you transform deep trauma into purpose and meaning? At 12 years old, Dave's world was shattered when he witnessed the murder of his mother. Left to carry on as normal, he battled PTSD, fear, and at its worst, alcohol abuse and rehab. Yet through self-leadership, Dave built resilience and found meaning by living out his purpose, helping others do the same. Now, through his self-leadership coaching program, Designed for Life, Dave guides individuals and teams to discover their values, define their purpose, and build the tools to thrive. Dave shares his powerful journey rooted in resilience and fulfillment in this episode, discussing the impact of choosing his purpose, moving through addiction, and the lessons learned from decades of searching for healing. With raw honesty, inspiration, and actionable insights, Dave reveals why it's essential to feel the meaning. As a listener to this episode, you were likely struck by the depth of honesty and vulnerability Dave shared. His story, shaped by unimaginable trauma and decades of searching for healing and meaning, invites you to pause and reflect, not only on your own experiences, but also on how to design a life imbued with purpose and intention. This central thread that stands out from Dave's conversation is this concept of feeling the meaning. Over the years, Dave sifted through countless therapies and self-help methods. He openly admitted that he'd once sought a magic button to resolve his trauma, a quick fix that never materialized. Instead, it was his gradual realization that meaning, not just purpose, was a key to transformation. It wasn't status, possessions, or job title from his corporate life that brought him contentment. Instead, it was a moment of true human connection. His first time sharing his story at a rehab centre, that gave him a profound sense of meaning. Reflecting on this, you might ask yourself, do you genuinely feel the meaning behind your daily actions, or are you, like many, swept along by the inertia of routine or societal expectation? The transcript is a reminder that meaning isn't discovered solely through grand events or dramatic turning points. It can be unveiled by aligning your daily actions, however small, with your core values. There they are again, core values. They're your anchoring points for life's purpose. Too often, people rattle off a list of values, but they struggle to prioritize them in their day-to-day. You may know your values intellectually, but are you making decisions that feed into them every single day? This conscious alignment is what transforms values from concepts to lived realities. Building on the work I shared with you earlier from Rachel Power's episode, set aside some quiet time this week to rank your top 3 values. Reflect honestly. To what extent do your work, relationships, and personal habits support them? Are there daily actions that you take or neglect that pull you closer to your values or further away from them? Sometimes it's not about changing your entire career or life overnight. It's about infusing meaning into the moments you already inhabit. What is key is a distinction between identifying your purpose and actually living it. Dave acknowledged that while discovering purpose might be straightforward in concept, the harder task often lies in embedding it into your real life, especially if you're constrained by circumstances, responsibilities, or fear. Yet, no change is possible, and it's rarely as complicated as you imagine. Big life changes often feel overwhelming and can keep you paralyzed. Instead, take a leaf out of Dave's book, break intention into practical, manageable steps. What is one purposeful action you could take this week directly tied to your top value? If connection is central to you, perhaps it's reaching out to a friend in need, or it could be volunteering an hour of your time. If well-being is core, could you schedule a non-negotiable walk or a moment of mindfulness each day? You'll find, as Dave did, that just one action, when aligned deeply with your values, creates ripple effects, bringing you closer to a profound sense of meaning. Even in your darkest times, when meaning feels far out of reach, remember Dave's words: there is always hope. Whether you're wrestling with past trauma, feeling a lack of fulfillment in your work, or just treading water, take courage. While navigating life's challenges, gracefully accept and liberate yourself from what you can't control to take control of what you can. This will give you the courage to act, which is enough to ignite a profound shift. My final reflection today is a call to pause, reflect, and act with intention. Remember this one truth: this is your life. Living in alignment with your values isn't about discovering some hidden purpose. It's about realizing that you have the power to create it. Purpose is not a destination. It's found in every step you take, every choice you make, every moment you live. You choose how you create your life. You choose how you feel in each moment. So be intentional. Choose with clarity and always focus on why. This episode's over, but let's keep the conversation going. How has this episode impacted you? Share your insights, takeaways, and reflections with actions on social media, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback creates powerful ripple effects, helping others to discover its value. Want to dive deeper into purpose? Check the show notes for links on how to work with me, where to buy my new book, Focus on Why, Create a Purposeful Way of Life, available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook, and where to sign up for Friday Focus, my weekly newsletter. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why.